There are a number of enhancements that I want to incorporate into what I'm doing with the Stan Myers water fuel cell. But I'd like to make an Adam Trombley device, which is a lot more expensive than a Myers device. You're probably talking tens of thousands to get the machining done and windings done and this kind of thing. And there's various different types of material. As I've suggested in the video, that I'm proposing that we set up a group. We set up our own group, and we're asking people to come forward with details about your expertise or your areas of interest, and how you think you can offer us some expertise and to develop some. Well, we'll be looking at existing claimed over Unity devices and then trying to repeat them. That would be my starting point. I'm happy for people to take the software that I've developed for this. I'm happy to produce parts lists and diagrams as to how I've made this. I'm even happy if anyone is willing to invest, is to build maybe 10 of these units and loan them to people who want to have a play with them and see if they can modify them or change them in some way in order to get what Myers achieved. How do you know that I'm genuine or that Andrew's genuine? Well, I guess you don't, Andrew. I guess.
Well, this is it. You have to build up trust over a period of time. I mean, you know, we have a track record now over the last couple of years that people can look at, and so they can get some information from that. But it is a huge problem with these groups being infiltrated and controlled. I mean, you and I were discussing earlier on about Stephen Greer and his groups, and to me that is a clear example of how, and you know, how a group can be manipulated and infiltrated, and then they can feed that information back to whoever, you know.
I think one of the principles would be that whatever's developed is transparent, and we publish details of what's found. We're not trying to hide anything.
Absolutely.
It's a public project, if you like. Because if I can't do it, then perhaps someone else can do it. But maybe they need the kit. If anyone's willing to invest in this, please get in touch. In fact, if anyone's interested in general, please get in touch, richard@richplanet.net, because I think the more brains that we have working on this kind of stuff, the more likely we are to get somewhere with it. I don't claim that I'm going to be able to produce what Myers did with my skills, but maybe with some of my skills and what other people's knowledge, maybe we can crack it.
With the best will in the world, you can develop a Stan Myers cell which works and produces over Unity and so forth, or some type of arrangement of magnets which appears to, some kind of advanced Bedini motor type of device which you can get energy out of. But can you make it run 24/7? Can you make it run reliably, or is it only going to run for a couple of months and then wear out and you have to replace all the parts? I mean, once you get a working device, that's only part of the engineering problem, because you then have to get it to produce enough power for enough time to actually be usable. And my issue is that when you want to go beyond that, you've got the sort of configuration correct, you've got the energy coming out, you can do it reliably, but it breaks every few hours or something. You've then got to go up a level, and you then have to go to a manufacturer, and you say, well, look, these are the parts, these are what we need to machine, give us a price for 10,000 units, and then you're going to be into the scenario of paying out hundreds of thousands of pounds, or signing contracts, getting lawyers involved, getting health and safety people involved. And when you start to get up to that sort of level of technology, then it becomes known what you're doing.
I would say that the objective would be to demonstrate that the principle works, that energy can be extracted from a source that they term the quantum vacuum, and it's a sea of energy which is almost limitless, and devices which could then be developed into workable solutions for domestic and industrial usages for free energy. Now, but you, in order to get that, to move on to that stage, you've got to be able to prove the principle. You've got to be able to prove absolutely that it works without any doubt, complete proof, and that would be what I would be after, to build a device which can categorically prove it once and for all and be tested at any university, and then that is then published, and no one can go on Wikipedia and say, oh, this doesn't work, like they've done with Myers. So that would be what I'd be looking for, and then to publish that design, the design which demonstrates the principle, and then the world, once that's online or wherever, anyone in the world could then take that and develop it into a solution. But you would then say, well, what's the point in doing it? How are you going to make money out of it? Well, are we really that sort of selfish that we think it's just about making ourselves rich?
Well, I think again you're down to the problem that you could make a device yourself with your own, blood, sweat and tears, so to speak. But if you wanted to mass produce it, you're going to have to get somebody else involved, and that's where the money becomes more of an issue. The money, when you're just building maybe one or two of these devices, it's not really an issue necessarily, because you can do it off your own back, you can do it in your spare time, you can do it with your own funds that you would spend on a hobby or something. But when you go to a larger scale than that, that is when you run into the problems. And this has happened time and again. This has happened over and over and over again. The Australian guys, look at the Lutech generator, which we talked about. That's exactly what they did. They produced this device, they got it to work, they got more energy out than in.
This is the LEA, it's the Lutech electricity amplifier. You see we're running a number of lights as a resistive load on the right hand side. As we go across to the left, we see our meters. We take our DC input. The DC input in this case is 280 watts. The DC output, as we get on the four bottom meters, as the AC is 636 watts. We divide 280 by 630 into 636. We get 227% efficiency.
They had people to independently verify that it worked, and then a few months after that, we never heard from them again. And their website went down, and now I think has gone completely offline. So it's disappeared without trace. So people then assume it was all a con, and that's that.
There are some devices which perhaps are not over unity, which are perhaps getting their energy by converting matter into energy, as per Einstein's famous equation, such as cold fusion and the ECAT-Rossi device. The ECAT-Rossi device, this is an Italian ex-con. Tell us about that, Andrew. Yeah,
well, this we were just discussing this a bit earlier, and this happened, I think, in 2011. There was a story that came out. This Rossi, who was an Italian guy, and today I learned he was actually in prison. He developed the idea or the design of this while he was in prison in Italy, which sort of raises an eyebrow. And he produced this device, which he alleges is something similar to cold fusion. It's a process similar to cold fusion, but he doesn't disclose exactly what this process is. But it's a process which produces heat in some kind of vessel, and he uses a nickel compound, and you put some heat around this cell to get it going, so you heat it up to 60 degrees centigrade, then the reaction starts and it becomes self-sustaining. And he alleges that when you get this self-sustaining mode going and you leave it running for several hours, you'll end up having got out more energy than you've put in.
I would think that the Adam Trombley device, I think he's still alive, Adam Trombley.
Yes, he is, yeah.
The patent has probably got enough information in it to be able to draw up a set of engineering drawings and then build it in a machine shop. So if there's anyone out there with a decent machine shop who wants to, maybe get a bit of publicity by helping us machine some components and maybe draft those components, get in touch, or come to our meeting if we're going to have one. Thanks for talking to me again today, Andrew.
Welcome.
And hopefully we can report back, maybe in the summer perhaps, that we've got some group together that's going to look into some of these free energy devices.